not going to have you all memorize a formula for this. I'm going to use these keywords right here. I'll use these a lot today: expand and FOIL. But in order for us to be able to handle questions like numbers 1 and 2, we kind of need to remember what squaring something actually means, right? What squared means. So take a look at number 1. Number 1 says parentheses n plus 4 squared. So way back when you first learned about squaring things, what did you learn about that? Like, what does squared really mean? Go ahead.
It's like a number times itself.
Yeah, something times itself. So when you look at a question like number 1 and you say, right, something's being squared, I would ask you guys, what is the base in that expression for number 1? What is actually being squared?
N and 4.
N plus 4. Not just the n, not just the 4, but the whole thing. So this step right here, I would call this the expand step, and I really suggest strongly that you do this. Expanding this out into what it really actually means would look like this: n plus 4 times n plus 4. That's what n plus 4 squared, n plus 4 in parentheses squared really means. Do you guys see the FOIL now?
Yes.
Okay, so let's practice FOIL again. We just did a bunch of it on the board, but we'll do it some more. When I FOIL, my firsts would give me what?
N squared.
N squared, that's right. What about my outers?
16.
16, or no, my outers will give me 4n. My lasts will give me 16. What about my inners?
4n.
4n, and then my lasts, like you said before, 16. If you simplify that, it ends up being n squared plus 8n plus 16.
That's it.
So Rocky, you just said, that's it, what, huh? Do you have a question?
Why did you just put n squared plus 16?
That's not what it is.
N squared? It's n plus 4 plus n plus 4. Well, why?
You know what, Rocky, that's a good question. What it comes down to is, what does this actually mean? When you see in parentheses n plus 4 squared, the squared means to multiply something by itself, right? So then you have to ask the question, right, what is being multiplied by itself? N plus 4 is being multiplied by itself. Let me show you a different version of this that we've seen before that people have definitely made mistakes with. Do you remember looking at this for the first time? Well, there are a lot of people look at that and they say the answer is negative 4. Mistakenly, right? The answer really should be positive 4. So these are both similar enough questions in regard to you need to correctly identify your base and your exponent. With number 1 here, n plus 4 n parentheses squared, the base that is being squared is n plus 4. So that means n plus 4 needs to be multiplied times n plus 4. The most common wrong answer is the thing that you mentioned, Rocky. People will look at this and they'll say, oh, it's n squared plus 16. They'll just apply the squared to the 4 and the n. It's just incorrect. It's like saying 4 plus 7 is 47. It's just not what it means.
Like those people.
All right. Number 2. Again, recognize what you have here is you've got a binomial in parentheses squared. Binomial in parentheses squared. So your first step needs to be expand and then FOIL for your second step. Bless you. Okay, so Avery, what would the expand step look like?
9x minus 1 times 9x minus 1.
That is correct. So Avery has correctly expanded that. Are we good now? We good? Okay, good. All right, so Avery's correctly expanded that. Now we're going to FOIL. Let's practice FOIL again. Danny, when you FOIL, when you do your firsts, what do you get? That's right. How about your outers, Danny?
20 plus 27x.
I believe it's 27x, but I think it should be negative, right? A negative times a positive. Okay, Colby, if we keep going with your inners, what do you get there? And then finally your lasts, Colby? Good. So then if you simplify it, you would get 81x squared minus 54x plus 9.
What is this, Mr. Anderson? You allowed this?
Hey guys, any questions? Okay. Here, multiplying the sum and difference of the same two terms. Again, your book is going to encourage you to memorize a formula based on a pattern. I'm going to encourage you just to use FOIL. Do you see the FOILs in there, right? It's a binomial times a binomial. That means use FOIL. There's going to be an interesting result, though. So, Sam, if I do FOIL, let's go through a couple of these here. What do you get for your firsts?
8D.
I think that's your
Oh.
inners.
D squared.
D squared for your firsts. And then how about, whoops, how about your outers?
Negative 8D.
Negative 8D, very good. Ellie, how about your inners? What do you get?
Get 8D.
Right, so plus 8D, and then Ellie, your lasts?
Negative 8D minus 8D.
No, that's your,
You get
those are your outers.
okay.
The product of your last would be the product of this and this. You're okay. What do you think that is?
Negative 64.
Got it. Okay, so the interesting result is this. Jake, when you add your middle terms, what do you get?
0.
0, that's right. So you'd get d squared minus 64. So this is an important pattern for us to recognize that when the two binomials are the exact same binomial, but just differ by the middle sign, the two middle terms after you FOIL should add out.
Or voided.
Yep, they should just add right out. Okay, and then number 4. Why don't you guys try number 4 by yourselves at your seat?
Taking my stuff.
We'll check your answer, and then we'll go to the board. Okay, Christiana, when you do your firsts on this number 4, what do you got?
49T.
49t squared, I agree with you there. How about your outers, Christiana?
Negative 14.
Good, negative 14t. So far, so good? Okay, Hunter, how about your inners?
Inners. AD plus AD.
We're on number 4.
Voided. Inners. Plus 14.
And then finally, your lasts?
Minus 4.
Nice job. So once again, we have a similar pattern where the two binomials were the same but differed by a sign. And the middle terms add up to be what?
0.
0. So your final answer here would be 49t squared minus 4.
Hey, I got that.
Very good. Okay, any questions from anyone? Okay, let's do some practicing, see how you do.
Well, up there, Rocky.